Hi guys, it's Matt here from the Forex Coach, just giving you our Friday weekly review. So it's Friday the 16th of June 2017 and just giving you an update to the trading signal account. As some of you have been following us for a while know, basically we're running a trading signal that you guys can buy into and be part of by subscribing through our website, which is theforexcoach.co.uk. Literally click on day trading signal over here. You'll see we're offering a 7-day free trial to give people the opportunity who aren't sure just to come in and see what it's all about. You'll get all our trade alerts by text message through, by message through an app onto your smartphone, and then you can obviously follow us and follow our trades if you wish, or just sit back, watch and monitor and see how we get on. But all our results are posted on here, so obviously take a look, and if you are interested, then go and have a look. Basically what we do is we post all our trades onto the Facebook page. So as you remember, last week we had a very strong week. We finished the week last week about 10% up. So the signal account, so I've got basically a brokerage account with where I'm just purely trading this signal on it, and I do obviously trade on my other accounts as well, but this signal account, what I've done is I put a realistic amount of money to get us started with. So we started off about £18,000 in this account, and our plan is to take this account up to £200,000, and along the way we're going to do some other sort of investments and some fun stuff with the money, and it's going to be kind of a journey that you guys following us from the beginning are going to be on. So last week we had a really good week. We closed the week on just over £1,000, so it was roughly about a 10% increase on the week. So how have we done this week? Well, we've not had as good a week, but we have finished in the green, which is obviously always good. So we finished on about £300 or £276. Now I'm doing this video at 5 o'clock. I've held off because we've got a couple of open positions which I will talk you through, which I was hoping to try and be out of by this point of the day on a Friday, and therefore and hopefully have a bit more money in the bank. But it hasn't played off for how we wanted, but never mind, that's trading. Looks like we'll probably be carrying these trades over to next week. So yeah, we've had, it's not been as busy as you can see from the screenshot there, the number of trades that we've taken across the week. It has not been as busy. We've had a couple of losers as well. One of these was carried over from last week, which I'll talk you through. But yeah, it hits a little bit, the CAD Swissy there this week. But all in all, look, we finished in the green. To be fair, we carried a 1% loss-ish from last week with these New Zealand CHF trades. That was a carry forward, so you could say that we only made 9% last week, and then say, we effectively made 2% this week. But it doesn't matter, it all averages out in the long run. And as I say, we're aiming for a minimum of 5% return on this account per month. We're currently tracking much higher than that, and as I say, at the end of June I'll do the monthly update and you'll see exactly where we're at overall for the 2 months. But let's get started then. We're going to go through the Facebook page and just have a look at some of these trades that we've posted. So, apologies this bit down here. I don't want to obviously log in because you see some different stuff on the page if I log in. But it's annoying because you've got this thing at the bottom here which says no cross, you can't get rid of it. So anyway, you just have to bear with me with that. This is our Facebook page. Let's go down to Monday, which was the 12th, I believe. Yeah, Monday the 12th. So first trade we took, I'm not going to go through it to be honest because we cut this trade. It was a small dollar CAD short. It had a fairly wide stop originally, and basically it was a big swing in momentum. So literally, as I said here, I just cut the trade. Which, because the stop loss originally was so big, we only recommend a 1% risk per trade. It meant that it was a tiny loss, 0.18%. Then we've got a euro pound trade, which was quite a good one. So on the 13th of June, so we took it on the 13th of June, and we were selling euro pound. Looks like we closed off 2 parts of it. So we closed off first part 35 pips. So we opened it at 7 in the morning, closed off at nearly 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we closed off the second half on the 14th at 9 in the morning, so we obviously left it to run overnight and it had gone up a little bit. We actually had a couple of trades on euro pound, so I think this carried on from my picture last week. I think we had a couple of shorts on it last week, and we've kind of carried on my overall view, which was for a bit more downside on that pair. So let's just have a look at the chart and see if we can see anything on there. So if I drag it over here, euro pound. Yeah, I think last week we traded this sort of move down here, and then it had a kind of a pullback, and we were trading, so we got in on the 13th. I think it's 13th early hours of the morning, so about 7 AM, wasn't it? So let's just have a look at 7 AM on the 13th, see what we were seeing here on the bigger picture. Just confirm that. So we got in on the 13th at 7 AM. Okay, so my overall view was obviously some downside here, and obviously, you know, looking at this, I'm not going to go through my strategies and my exact reasoning behind it, but you can see here we had this momentum selling off here, and you can see where basically, you know, the trend just fell down quite nicely. And as I said, it looks like we exited part around here, and then it's had a bit of a run up, and then the next day we got out the second half. 9 AM, wasn't it, on the 14th? That would have been, it would have been up 7, 8, 9 AM. So I think that we called it just before this bounce, actually, if I remember rightly. It must have been. So we got out nearly down the bottom here, and there would have been certain things that I was seeing on my indicators in order to get us out of that, but we got out a fairly good place. It had a bit of a bounce, and then we've actually taken more trades since on the short side of this. But yeah, the overall picture, we were looking at some good moves to the downside. So it looked like it had a lot of potential to come down, and it still does, to be fair. My view on this is still it's got a bit more to go there. Without a doubt, it looks like there might be a bit of a trend line there as well, to be fair. Yeah. So we got a nice trend line there, I've just noticed that, which is interesting. So potentially, if we can get a break of this trend line, we could be coming down here to some of these moving averages and some of these sort of key levels down here. So yeah, it was quite nice to have these couple of trades on that. Again, if we look at the daily, still looking like we've got room, but again, looking at this daily, it looks like there's still potential for it to bounce as well. So you've always got to be careful with these sort of trades, because you can say quite clearly there is a picture there for the downside, and there is on the daily picture for the downside there, but then also we've got a big gap here, which could quite easily be filled, so we need to watch out for that. So that was that trade. I'm not going to talk for every trade this week, because it's just going to take too long. New Zealand Swissy, this was one that I regretted. When we took this last week, I said this is a great setup, guys, but it could bounce a bit higher. And the reason I said that was because I thought in my gut feeling was we was getting in too early, which turned out that I was right. So sometimes you just got to listen to these little feelings you have, and sometimes you take a trade and you think, yeah, it's the right time to take this trade, when really your gut's telling you, well, hold on, it might not just be quite right. So just take a sit back. So basically, we were in a bit of a drawdown on this trade, and I was worried about the spread over the weekend, because it can go crazy on this particular pair. So what we done was we took a 20 pip hit initially, and the idea that we'd get back in the next week and add that part of the trade back in, so overall we can make our recovery. Anyway, the whole trade, to cut a long story, turned out into a bit of a mess. Some of the guys in the group did manage to make some profits out of this by adding in on the sort of 30-minute charts and taking out and exiting, and I think there was a couple of a couple of the guys actually closed out and ended up finishing in profit. We ended up losing about 1.4% on this trade. As I say, 1% of it was carried over from the previous week, and 0.4 from this week. But yeah, looking at the chart, it had more in it, and we were too early to the party, to be honest. It just seemed to keep going. So if we look at the daily chart, we was looking at some key resistances that had been hit. I think originally we'd had this 100 period moving average, and that's where we were looking at thinking there's got to be some sort of rollover from this, even if it's down to the 21 period moving average before the bounce. But as you can see, this trend has been very strong. It's just kept going, and it's still going today. So, you know, we've had this major trend line break here. So my view is further upside on this pair, but we need some sort of rollover now, because it's done a big move. You know, this trend has been best part of 340 pips. So if I was looking at a long size play on this, I would want a decent retracement. We've got this moving average sweeping down here. Potentially it could come down, hit that. We don't know, it could come down here. This moving average here is putting around. So we'd need a retracement, but that's what we was trying to play. We was trying to play this retracement, and it just caught us out basically. It kept looking like it was going to turn, and there were times where we had, you know, the trade in profit, and then it just went against us. You can see here on the 30-minute chart, which we were getting our entries off. We had some nice moves where we would have been sort of in profit, and then it just kept going, kept diverging. If we go on the high time frames, it just kept diverging. We did then end up having a profitable trade. I think it was up here somewhere. We took this little move. So although we lost 1.4, we ended up getting, I don't know, about 0.5 back overall. So it wasn't a complete disaster. And it is tempting at the moment to take another short on it, because there is potential there for it to carry on rolling over now, and I'd start this big retracement. But I'm not sure. I'm going to have a look at that actually later on and see. But I don't like the pair now. It's kind of put me off it a little bit for this week. And they have to be careful, pairs, because if they don't pay out, then they get cut from the signal. So we've lost one so far since we started. We have lost one market off the signal, and we added another one in. But it will chop and change, because that's, you know, that's the way trading goes. You do need to sort of change your markets, and certain ones will perform and won't perform at different times. We had a euro dollar. We closed 48 pips. This was a really quick trade, if I remember rightly. Let's just have a look. So we sold. By the way, these screenshots are exactly what I'm posting to the group. So if anyone's not sure how it works, this screenshot that I'm putting on here, you can see the exact time. Now you've got to bear in mind that I'm not posting this till 11:40, because obviously, you know, the paid for people are going to get it first. By the time anyone reads it on Facebook, 9 times out of 10 the trade's already moved. So yeah, 7:10, we got in, we got out really quick. Euro dollar, we closed 50 pips at 7.35, and that was another trade we were closing out there for some profit. But yeah, the euro dollar got in on the 14th of June. Just looking at that time, that don't correspond with this, so I'm not sure what one that was. I've posted on there, to be fair. I might have copied and pasted the wrong one. 48.1 pips, 50 pips, that's kind of tallies. Let's just have a look at the screen printout, and we can probably see it clearer on there. That's the one. So we're looking at euro dollar. Euro dollar, we've got a trade there. Yeah, entry was 7.09 on the 14th of June. So potentially the one I've copied and pasted into the notes is not correct. So I must have copied. I've got an Excel spreadsheet where I copy them to and then from, so maybe I picked up the wrong one. But anyway, so Euro US dollar, yeah. So this is the one because we opened it at 7.09 and we closed it out literally 25 minutes later. So yeah, it was a small trade, smallest trade. It was only 0.25% risk, so obviously the overall return was quite low. But yeah, so 14th at 7 a.m. Let's just have a quick look at Euro dollar then. Euro dollar. Let's go to the 1 hour. Again, my view for the euro dollar was similar at the time to the euro pound. I was expecting a bit more downside from last week. So the 14th, 7 a.m. 14th at 7 a.m. euro dollar. On the 14th at 7 a.m. we're here. That can't be the move there. It's only 23 pips, and then it's had a massive bounce. Let's just have another look at this. Euro dollar. 14th of the 6th. Oh, 7:09 p.m. I'm looking at 7:09 a.m. Yeah, of course, this was the Fed FOMC. So we traded FOMC at 7 p.m. My apologies. So I'm looking at 7 a.m. So it was the Fed rate decision at 7 p.m. So this post is correct because that says 7:10 p.m. I'm thinking, why would we take a trade at 7 p.m.? So yeah, we traded this with the guys. We just took one trade. That's what it says. It's 1900 hours. So yeah, we took the trade. Let's just have a look at the chart then. So we took it at 7:09 on the 14th. Yes, we had this big jump up. So yes, right, we had some news announcement during the day, which made the market have a big bounce. And by the way, if you are part of the Signal group, you'll see in the Signal feedback, I give sort of a running commentary on what's happened for the day. So if you're ever unsure and you think to yourself, why the hell have we had this great big move and a great big reversal, it will kind of all be explained to you if you just follow the group. So yeah, so basically there was really poor data came from the US. The momentum was down though, so looking at the higher time frames, we'd had divergences, we'd had some downside, then had a big bounce. There was some resistance up here, and at 7 p.m. we had this big move here. Now we actually got in on this great big move here, and we got out down here. We were literally in it for about 20 minutes. So we took about 50 pips. I think we got out somewhere about there. So yeah, we probably got in somewhere about here. So the news, the rate decision had already come out. I think it bounced. You can see here on this candle wick, it bounced and then started to sell off. And I just could see what was happening with the picture, and there was more downside. We also had a long, I had a long on dollar yen. See, I trade obviously another account where I can take much higher risk, and I had a long at the same time on dollar yen, because I could see the same picture. And I do wish I took it with the guys in the trading room because it absolutely flew. So I was buying dollar yen around about here after this blip down, and again FOMC, that'd be the 7 o'clock candle, blip down, and then we just had this almighty bounce up. And on one account I got out about here, so I took about 100 pips, and then on another account I got out up here on this moving average up here. But it went loads higher. We've actually had a short on it this afternoon and taken this profit here. So we're doing pretty good. We're kind of reading these markets quite nicely. So anyway, that was the euro dollar. Really quick 50 pips on FOMC. I'm quite pleased because with the Signal, we've had two major events happen. We've had the UK general elections, which we had two profitable trades on euro pound, and we've now had FOMC, and we've had a profitable trade on that, so that's really good. Dollar CAD, we had a buy on dollar CAD, was it on the 14th as well? Yeah, 14th. It was at 11:30 in the morning, so before the news announcement. And I remember being in this trade, and we had this bad dollar data or US data, and some of the other markets, like I just showed you, the yen, they sold off like 100 pips. So we took this trade. This isn't the trade we took, but equivalent. So we took CAD, okay, 11 a.m. on the 14th. The dollar yen sold off like 130 odd pips. But if you look at the dollar CAD, we took the dollar CAD. We actually took the entry off the 15-minute chart, to be fair, and it went up about 30 pips before this news announcement, before it then rolled over. So let's just have a look. Put it down here. 14th, 11 a.m. 14th. There we go. There it is. So we took it about 11 a.m. Yeah, about here. So as I say, I'm really reading the markets, and I was ready for this. And it bounced up, and I thought, yeah, here we go. This is it. This is where we're going for up here. You know, it's going to be a great big move, because it just had some real momentum behind it when it moved quickly. You can see on the 15-minute chart, and then it just started to roll. And then this news announcement came out. Now, bearing in mind what I just showed you, 130 odd pips on the dollar yen. The dollar CAD was 60 pips. So I messaged the guys in the room and I said, look guys, don't worry, because you know, out of all the dollar pairs, we were definitely in the right one. We were still miles away. Our stop was still way down here, so we were still safe territory. And then it had a big reversal. The same sort of thing happened, and we took some nice profits out of that. Obviously our entry was up here, so I think we took about 50 pips. I think we probably got out around this moving average here. And I did say to the guys there's going to be more upside on this, but we went overnight, so we closed out, and I was hoping the next morning for a slightly deeper retrace down to about here to get another long position in, and I was tempted down here, but we never quite got enough of a retracement, so we never got in on that bit of the move there. So anyway, that was 42 pips, and then the second half, we got 62 pips out the second half. So I was actually looking at the 4-hour chart, to be fair. If I go to the 4-hour chart, I'll show you where the targets were. Yeah, we got out up here. I was targeting this 21 period moving average, which it didn't hit till the next day. But as I say, if we had got a retracement down to about here, we would have got in long again and took this move here, but we didn't, unfortunately. I was just looking at the market because we've actually had a long. I don't know if I can show trading history on this. Now this account, this computer that I did the recordings on. Okay, it isn't my computer. Oh yeah, it will only show you today, today's trades. But you can see here we took another long position on dollar CAD today. We got in here. We took half the position off. We had a nice exit there, 24.1 pips at this moving average here, because I knew there was the risk of it selling back off, and it did. So it's gone underwater. I don't really care because it can't lose now, this trade. It can't be a losing trade either way, but I was hoping that we were going to get this breakthrough and this push up to maybe here or even higher, where the limit is up there, but probably, you know, around about here. But I'll manage that one with the guys, and we'll probably I don't know, we might, well, I probably won't be in this trade next week, over the weekend. Probably close out either way at some point today. We also had a nice little trade on dollar yen today. So you can see our entry over here. Again, not telling you what we was looking at on the bigger positions, but I knew that there was potential. I do think there is going to be some. I'm a bit confused with this pair, to be fair. I do think there's going to be some upside, but then I can also see there's going to be some sort of risk-off sentiment coming, which means further downside. So not too sure about this one, but we had a couple of good trades on there. So we got 28 pips off for the first half down here, and then nearly 50 pips, 49.6 pips on that second half. And it looks like, looking at that now, that price action, it looks like it was a pretty good exit on that second half, so I'm quite pleased with that. Never quite got down to target, but you know, that's the key to the signal. You guys don't need to stress about trades because I'm monitoring the markets for you. I'm looking at price action, I'm looking at moving averages, so I'm going to get out the trades if it's looking at reversing with profit. Hopefully, I say that, and there's one that we did miss this week, which I'll talk you through shortly. So that was the first dollar CAD. Euro pound. We had a blinding trade on this. So this was Bank of England rate decision. So we've had some good trades this week, to be fair. Bank of England rate decision. We took 77 pips for the first half, 86 pips for the second half. I'll just get euro pound up again. It won't show you the trading history because it only shows you the current day. Euro pound. Let's go to the hour chart. We should see a great big bar shooting down. There we go. So what time did we get into this trade? Euro pound, we got in at on the 14th of the 6th at 4 p.m. 14th, we didn't get out to the next day till 12 noon. So we took it the day before. So we took it the 14th. I forgot what time I just said. Until it's the end of the week. So we got out at 4 o'clock. So we got in at 4 o'clock on the 14th. 14th at 4 o'clock. So it's up here. Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, it was it was in profit, and again, my view, like I said earlier, was more downside. We'd had this bounce back up. There was something going on my indicators. We'd had this shooting star style bar. By the way, all this training stuff is all in the training course. I've already started doing the videos for it, so it should be available in the next couple of weeks. But we had this this bar here, and we got in on this bar, quite near the top actually. I think we got in about there. Went straight away into profit, and just held in profit until the rate decision, where it just flew. This bar was like 100 pips or 75 pips, but we got out right near the bottom here, to be fair, on that second. So we took the first one, got out about there, 77 pips, second one like 80 or 85 pips, something like that. It then had a bounce. It's had more downside since, but not a lot, and we were in and out. And that's the way I like to be out the market, you know, where possible. Let's try and bank some money. So that was the euro pound, second trade of the week. Just by the way, just this post here, I've had a few people message me about this. When I do the trading course, I am going to do a trading course which is completely different to anything you've probably seen before or I've seen before. And the idea is to teach you guys how to trade and build up your own trading strategies. I'm not just going to give you my signal strategies, because that would kind of jeopardize my business, in the sense of the key part to my business is this trading signal. But I'm going to teach you how I've designed the signal, so you can go out and you can design your own trading strategy. And I think that's more important, because as a minimum, you need to spend 5-6 hours a day for this particular signal to be monitoring the markets. Now, most people who have got day jobs and trading haven't got 5 or 6 hours, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you a way that you can actually design your own trading strategy that suits your trading style and your lifestyle. And I think that's the key. That's far more important than just me giving you my signals. Now, the other thing from that is, if I gave you my signals and my setups, in 2 years' time, or years' time, or 6 months' time, they might not work anymore. So I have to constantly change my strategies and evolve them as the markets change. Now, if you paid X amount of money to learn these signals, and then in 2 years' time they're no good, what's the point in that? So I think my way that I'm teaching is actually going to be a lot more beneficial, and the key is teaching you how to read the markets, as opposed to just following, you know, a simple strategy. You know, I have honestly seen people charging £2,000 for a training course where the key strategy was to buy or sell the market based on a MACD crossover, and that was it. MACD crossover, and that was the content basically in a nutshell. So, you know, quite amazing really. So we did have the profitable one. I've already mentioned this. New Zealand Swissy, we managed to take one profitable one. We got 30 pips and 22 pips, nothing special. And then the US 30, I'll go through this really quickly, but basically we got a great entry on this yesterday morning. And I said to the guys that we're looking for a short position on this. We're going to take a small entry now, and then we're going to try and get a second entry on it. Let's just let it load up. Now, what I was planning on happening, 50% of it happened exactly as I planned, okay? So, when this decides to load up. So we got in up here. We got in up here on the 15th, no, not 2 AM. We got in on this bar, on the 6 AM bar, but we got in it about here, okay? We then, I'll have to show you this bar because it's not clear on here, but basically this bar shot up here and then reversed back down to here. So my plan was to get in here. We got up to about 60 pips up or 70 pips up. And our target was down here at this moving average down here was our first target. That was our second target somewhere down there. And basically what happened, you can see the trade there actually. You can see my dot. If I zoom in, you can see the dot where I took the trade. So you've got a dot there and a dot there. So you can clearly see this trade was up like 70, 80 odd pips. It then bounced. And we got a second entry in, so it bounced. We could have got one a much higher, but we ended up getting it there anyway. It then shot down, and I was ready for this to go. I thought, this is it now. This is go time with this pair. Because my overall view is downside for the US 30. However, there is a trend line in play, which I'm not going to tell you about or what I'm looking at. Ignore that trend line. There's a trend line up here. An important one, so it might want to go a bit high still, but anyway, so we were looking at a short, we got in, and I was so close to going, should we just take some profits here? Across the two trades we had over 100 pips. Anyway, we missed it. Frustratingly, in hindsight, there was a trend line. I show you this, I only noticed this after, and I was kind of analysing where it went wrong. We had this really strong trend line here. Look at that. Look at the touches there. Now really, we could have taken an exit there, and then on this one, on the second entry, we could have taken an exit there and just gone, do you know what, I'm happy with this trend line, or maybe I'm going to leave one of the positions on to see if it does break this trend line. But it had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was clear. 6 hits on this, but anyway, we never got an exit, so it bounced. I said to the guys this morning, look guys, it could be a stop out, it's getting close. This is what we need to see in order to stay in this trade. And I said we need to see a close of this 4-hour bar. So we need to, I basically taught the guys through this 4-hour bar and this 4-hour bar and how it needed to close, and it did. So I was like thinking, yeah, okay, we're ready for the second attempt now. And it looks like it might be doing the same thing again as what it done yesterday. So it's come down, and I'm thinking to myself, it's got to come down to this trend line now, or at least test these lows. So we put a limit in here this time. So I thought it's got to test this moving average and these lows, and it was getting ready. This one went to about 30, 40 pips up. The other one was got to break even. And anyway, since then it's bounced. So I don't know what's going on with this this at the moment. It's just so resilient, this market's unbelievable. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's an investor, and we was just talking about this market. In fact, we actually went to the S&P. They actually mirror each other, but if you look at the market since the financial crash and the lows of 2009, you know, we've got the lows down here. Oh no, let's go to the weekly. So these companies in this S&P 500 since 2009, so the market, the crash was 665, and it's now 2,400 odd. It's 3.6 times bigger than it was. These markets are valued at 3.6 times what they were there. Now they're not worth 3.6 times more. No way. You look at their average earnings and stuff like that, and it's not. So it's massively out. It is a bubble. We've got to see a retracement. So potentially there's a big trade on here in the next couple of years. I'm never gonna, loads of people have picked it and been like, yeah, it's happening. But we can't pick it till it actually happens. But this trend line is in play now. I mean, you can draw it different ways, to be fair, but potentially on that one, if we're looking at a touch of this trend line, we could be going up to this area up here, so potentially still more upside. But yeah, we was looking for a rollover of that anyway, of the Dow Jones, and it never quite worked out for us, but we're still in it, and we'll have to see what happens. So we'll have to see what happens with the price action and stuff. But I think we're going to be sitting in this trade now till next week. So let's look at another one. So that was the Dow Jones. Could have been a big winner, so we could have had another 1% or so in the kitty. Tiny little trade yesterday, euro pound, 15 pips. Bad call by me, this one. CAD CHF. I tried something that wasn't in my trading signal or in my trading strategy. I tried something. I think we took it last. Did we take it on Monday? Oh no, we took it Monday. I think we was having a good day, and I thought, yeah, we're trading really well, so we can take a bit more risk. And anyway, I done something. It did go into profit, to be fair, and we could have got out of it, but I left it anyway. We ended up. It was only a half-size trade, so it was 0.5% loss. Although it was 50 pips, it was a small position, but it wasn't in the trading plan. It wasn't in the trading signal, but I tried it, and I won't be trying it again. Dollar yen, which I've already talked you through. We've had that today. 28 pips and the 50 pips. Dollar CAD, we took half off. I've talked you through that one. And that's it for the week. So I hope that helps. Let's run through everything for this week. As I say, if you're not a member, it's limited time only on this free trial. I think I'm going to stop it potentially next week some point. So if you do want to take advantage of it, it's really easy, because all you need to do is, I think you can click on this image and it will take you to a page. It'll take you to a page, and then you can just fill in this form, and then that'll send us the information and we'll add you to it. There is some more videos on here. I know some of you aren't completely up to date, but just make sure you watch these videos under the basic section. They're all available for everyone, but the psychology and risk management and risk and position sizing are quite important ones. If you click on the risk and position size, you'll find there's now a file download, which you can download this and use it for your own use. But there's a risk and position size calculator there, which will help you. It's just an Excel spreadsheet that we set up. I hope that helps. Have a great weekend, and I will speak to you all next week.